If this is your vibe, I want to be friends.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I went from this. I went from this to this. It's not just about changing, because when God is in your life,
he fully had his fingers in between every single fold of my fucking brain.
I try so hard and got so far.
I'm going to show you 3 different styles of knitting so that you can try them all out and figure out which one is most comfortable for you. This style of knitting is called English knitting. This is when you insert your right needle into the first stitch on the left needle and throw the yarn with your right hand. This style of knitting is called continental knitting. This is where you're holding your working yarn in your left hand and you're picking instead of throwing. This last style is called flick knitting. This is what I do. You are throwing the yarn like in English knitting, but it is one motion like in continental knitting.
When I was in 8th grade, I was hospitalized for an eating disorder, and I had to live in a hospital for a couple months before I was stabilized. The other girls and I were not allowed to exercise at all, and we were locked in a common room for like 8 hours a day. I noticed a lot of girls would pass the time between meal times and therapy sessions by knitting. Over time, during the duration of my stay, I picked up the hobby as well. I have probably about like 20 scarves from my stay. Knitting really became a coping mechanism for me during my eating disorder recovery. And it was a great thing for me to do during therapy sessions and at mealtime to help alleviate my anxiety. When I was finally discharged, I continued knitting, and I actually decided to start a fiber arts business to make enough money to sustain my hobby. That business, Purple Pear, is named after the stuffed animal that I took with me to treatment. Through my eating disorder recovery, I discovered my artistic passion. My business, Purple Pear, will be 6 years old next month. And as my account's almost to 40,000 followers, I want to thank all of y'all for supporting me on my journey.
Here are 5 knitted gift ideas for your boyfriend or partner that aren't sweaters. I believe in the sweater curse, and I also believe that the types of gifts that you knit for someone should match the stage of the relationship that you're in. So these are gift ideas for those in the early stages. For me, it would be relationships that are less than a year old. This is a simple one-day project. You can knit him a beanie. This is a free pattern on the Yarnspirations website. You could also do a scarf. That's another like 1 or 2 day project. This is a free pattern on lovecrafts.com. You could also knit him mittens. I love this color combination. This is a free pattern on nitty.com. You don't have to make him a wearable. You could also knit him a mug cozy if he loves coffee or tea. A mug cozy plus a cute mug would be a really great gift too. Another non-wearable would be a really cute tea towel. This is a free pattern on the wildberry.com website.
Go by love and overlooked and unappreciated. You see, you can reciprocate. I got delicious taste. You need a woman's touch in your plate.
to night in less than a few hours. Loosely knit sweaters, these take less than 3 hours. More sweaters in different colors. And more. And more, can't help myself. Tube tops, these can be made in an hour or so, also super easy. Can do so many colors. More and more tube tops. Simple crop tops took less than 2 hours. Cozy tank tops also took less than 2 hours.
How you can use yarn to spice up your phone case. This was uploaded by IG Ma, and I absolutely think it's so iconic. So let's talk about it. So she took a clear phone case, and it looks like she crocheted a panel like that fit the phone case. So she did from the bottom all the way to the top, and right when you get to the top, that's when you start doing your decrease rows, right? So you're just now doing this part here. You can place this on top of your actual phone case so that you can get a estimate as you're going. So you crochet as many chains as you need to, and you kind of just have to do trial and error here. See, okay, wait, this is too big, this is too small, da-da-da, and you keep going, and then when you get to here, you're like, okay, wait, I might need an extra row. Okay, now I can do my decreases. So it's all trial and error. You use your phone case as a reference the entire time. And then you can hot glue on top, this on top, and then you hot glue on total the entire case that you just made onto, like you take the yarn, you would have to hot glue it all over and then stick it onto the case. At least that's how I'm interpreting she did this. You can also see that she has a chain here too, so you can also add that chain in and then hot glue that in, or E6000 is probably a lot more practical because it'll stay for longer. But yeah, you're crocheting on top, you're crocheting the panel and then you're placing it on top, if that makes sense. And you have to use your phone case as a reference in order to see, okay, how long does it need to be, how many stitches do you need across, yada yada yada.
When you're testing often, the ball of yarn is about to run out.
Come on. Come on. Are we gonna make it? Only 3 more stitches. Come on, baby. We can do this. We can do this. Victory.
So for row 1, what I'm going to do, this is a right side row, I'm going to slip the first stitch purlwise and take my yarn to the back of the work, and then insert the needle into the first stitch as you would normally to knit it, and then wrap it as you would normally, but then wrap it again. So you've wrapped it twice, and then you're going to pull it through as normal, so you've now got 2 loops on that stitch. So you do this with every single stitch. So now I'm on the last stitch, I'm just going to knit this stitch like normal and turn my work. So now we're on the wrong side of our work, and what we're going to do is slip the first stitch purlwise and then take the yarn to the back of the work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert our right needle into this stitch and unravel it. So you can see it's got 2 loops. So I'm going to insert it purlwise, and just like you're going to slip it onto that right needle, unravel the stitch like that. And then you're going to do the exact same thing with the next one. So you've now got 2 stitches on the right needle, and then you're going to insert the tip of the left needle into this stitch and lift it over the other stitch. Not fully off the needle though, you're going to keep the stitches like this, and then you're going to take the stitch on the right needle back to the left, so you've just changed the direction of the stitches. And then we're going to insert the right needle into the back of this stitch and knit it, and then into the front of this stitch and knit it. And you're going to repeat that process for every single pair of stitches. Now I'm just working my last pair of stitches, and then you get to the last stitch and you can just knit this stitch.
So you want to learn how to knit, but you're not sure where to start. Grab your yarn and your needles, and I'm going to teach you the 4 basics of knitting. Step number 1 is called casting on. Drape your yarn over your needle and spread it open with your top 2 fingers and your thumb. Bring your needle down towards your thumb and loop it up to create this star shape. Loop that needle under again. Keep repeating this until you have cast on the desired amount of stitches for your row. Once you've cast on, bring it to your left hand and grab your other needle in your right. Push it through the middle of the stitch, wrap the yarn away from you, pull it under, and slide it off. Keep doing this until you've knit across the entire row. Once you're done, you'll see that you've created some ridges here. Flip it around and let's learn how to purl. Bring that yarn towards you, and instead of pushing forward, you're going to come up backwards. You're still going to wrap that yarn away from you and pull it under. And slide it off. Keep doing that until you have purled across the entire row. You'll notice that the purling creates some tighter ridges, and on the opposite side it creates this lovely V shape. This is called a stockinette stitch. Keep alternating between knitting and purling rows to keep that stitch going. Or if you want to get back to those ridges, just knit every row. The last step you need to learn is called casting off. What you're going to do is you're going to knit or purl those first 2 stitches. That stitch furthest on the right, you're going to put your left needle in that and pull it over that first stitch and loop it under, then slide that off. Put another stitch onto your right needle and keep putting that stitch over the first one until you get to your last one. After that last stitch, you're just going to pull that loop tight so it doesn't come apart.
How to knit with just your fingers. This method gets rid of a hand loom completely and is perfect if you're trying to knit a scarf or a headband. You're going to start off by taking your tail end, leaving about 5 inches off, and wrapping around, back to front, front to back in your 4 fingers. When you get to the pinky, then it goes in front, back and forth. And you're going to do that 3 times so that you have a foundation, just like you see me doing here. It's a lot easier to see it rather than me telling you exactly how to do it. So just follow along, take it back if you need to, and then you're pulling up the bottom loop of your piece. And those first few times that you do it, the piece may move around a little bit just because you have the tail end. There's not a lot of other rows before that, obviously. So just pull on your tail end and on the yarn you're currently working with, where your ball of yarn is attached to, just so that it's a tighter process. And then every time you do a new round, you're going from front to back in those, and then when you get to that pinky, then you're going again in front, then back, then front, and then you just drop off there. That last finger, your pointer finger, won't ever actually have another stitch. So I just messed up right there, and that's why you'll see 3 loops on that hook. You should only have 2 loops on each finger at each time. So again, you're pulling up that bottom loop, and now since I have that 3, that's how I know I messed up. I just got rid of that loop and I just went right over. So in the future, when you're doing your actual front to back, back to front, and you're going all the way around, you're going to stop here at that third, your like middle finger, and that's the only one that you'll need to do, just because you are creating that top loop for your pointer finger in the stitch beforehand. So you're just following this process back and forth, front to back, super simple, super easy. Now, the tip to do this is keeping your fingers at the same length apart between the pinky and the 4th finger and the pointer and the middle finger, because otherwise your tension changes. And this is just something that gets better at as you practice it. But once you're done with your project and you're like, I'm satisfied, you can either attach another ball of yarn, or you just take this off your fingers, slip it off gently, and that's all you have to do. That's why I can't stress this enough. This is the most inexpensive way to create something out of yarn, because all you need is yarn. It's great because if you're traveling and you're just bored, you can do this and you don't have to have an expectation of creating something. This is just an easy way to get introduced to the craft and have something fun to do.